Hello and welcome to another session of Workman Wisdom. My name is Rick Geha. I'm a coach and I'm excited as heck to talk to you today. And I say that for every one of these sessions because everything I get to talk about, I'm usually pretty excited about. So today we're going to talk a little bit about objections. And I want to tell you what we're going to talk about because while the sessions are short, we like them to have enough content in them for you to kind of get your mouth watering with information and maybe seek out more information afterwards. Now, objections are something that whether you're brand new in the business or like me, I'm approaching my 37th year selling houses, they are very common. And I'll tell you what it took me a while to learn. In my early stages as a real estate agent, before I had a lot of training, I felt like objections were a way of people pushing me away and saying, this isn't going to work. And I don't have the bravery or the courage to say, go away, this isn't going to work. So I'm going to keep throwing objections at you. And as I grew both in age and experience and getting more and more education and learning more, what I found out was that objections were really just a way of saying, here's something I'm probably going to need more information about. And the more maturely I handled those objections, the more I gained clients' trust. And ladies and gentlemen, handling objections in a professional, and I mean really professional and quote-unquote adult manner, is something that will bring more trust, stronger relationships, and will give you more closings in the end. So objections, and I'm going to write this right here, objections are like questions. So as I said, they're more about what people don't understand. It's an inability. I'll tell you how my wife says it. She says it's like there's this big mountain between the consumer and their vision. And their vision is buying that house. The objections are the mountain, so they can't even see the house of their dreams because of the objections that look like a mountain in front of it. Now, take that visual for a minute. In other words, you know that everything you're dreaming about in the way of buying a house is right behind that mountain, but you can't even see it because this mountain of objections is in front of you. So really, they are actually reaching out to you and looking to you for help. They really want to know. And it's important that you say to them, thank you. So first, we're going to, number one, we're going to acknowledge that they said it. Number one, you're going to say that. I definitely hear what you're saying. I'm getting what you're saying. I have to tell you that when I've witnessed real estate agents that I'm training or speaking to over the many, many years that I've done that, the most common mistake is that there is a lack of hearing. There's a lack of indicating to the customer that you heard what they said and that you understood it. Now, people will say an objection, and the first thing that an agent will say, but let me tell you, that is not going to handle the objection. It sounds defensive. When you sound defensive, you sound like you're actually invalidating their concern, and that will never get you anywhere. Now, this isn't the place for that, but think about how much that happens in every aspect of your life, in your relationships, in your business, in the conversations with other real estate agents. It's all about, when you get defensive, you make it all about you, and it's not about you. They are not saying no to you, and that is a key foundational piece that you need to know. They are saying no to the house, or they are saying, I need more information. Okay? So as you do that, is first you acknowledge what they've said. You repeat it back. Here's how we do that. I think what I'm hearing you say, Mr. Buyer, is that if the kitchen were in the back of the house and looked over the backyard so that when you were working in the kitchen, you could see your kids playing in the backyard, that it would be more of the home you'd be looking for. That all I did was essentially rephrase what they told me so that they knew clearly that I heard it and I understood it. So first acknowledge, second repeat, and then third, you actually help with it. You might say, well, you're asking about the crime statistics in the area, and unfortunately it's not something I know by heart. So let me do this. I'm going to find out which website is the most accurate for us finding out that information. And what I'd love for you to do is look at it yourself so you can look at it and find out what information is most important to you. Will that be helpful for you? Right? Now, A lot of times people will say to me, Rick, well, what's the objection like when they say, well, we want to run it by our parents? So you got the husband and wife there. You might say, great, what I hear you saying is that you want to run this by your parents. Is there something that your parents are going to help you with that I could also maybe get more information for you that would help you? And they say, no, actually, Rick, it's more about a comfort level. We're old enough to make the decision by ourselves. We're buying it by ourselves. And we just still feel better if we get our parents. In our culture, and this is something I just heard a couple of weeks ago when I was working with one of my buyer's agents on my team, and they were talking about, they said, they keep saying they want to run it by their parents. And they said, in their culture, and when I say their culture, that's hundreds of different cultures. I'm born and raised in the United States, yet my background culture is, boy, you run stuff by your parents. Even the first, second, and third homes I bought, I was married with children. I still went and got my dad and said, Dad, would you come and take a look at this? So the point is understanding. Objections go away when you do one very basic thing, and that is that you realize that it's not about you. You go back to what I said. Number one, you acknowledge. Number two, you repeat so they know that you heard what they said and you understand it. And number three, you handle it. And by handling it, you have to be the person that brings them the education that handles the objection. And if the objection cannot be handled, then most likely that home is not for them. It doesn't mean you are not for them. So this is a really big subject. And what I'll tell you about this is that I've done 2, 3, and 4-hour talks just on handling objections and scripts that go around handling objections. When we do calling to for sale by owners or expireds, there's going to be objections and there's going to be different scripts. And I'm going to tell you, if you take those 3 basic things that I just told you, they will work in almost all of those occasions. And I ask you to read up about it. There's no one expertise on handling objections. I'll tell you this though, the more you show, and remember this little rule, people don't care how much I know until they know how much I care. You continue to show that rule, objections will start to be a thing of the past with you and in your business. Have a great day, and thanks for joining us.